So POKKEN Tournament has been out for a bit, and everyone seems to jump right into the rank matches as soon as they get a little better. Now, I haven't 100%ed this game, but I have beaten the Chroma League, and I don't need the amiibo card for obtaining Shadow Mewtwo, seeing how beating the Chroma League gets you Shadow Mewtwo in the first place. Now, since I see a lot of people jumping into the rank matches, like it's the main cause for playing, I decided it would be nice to help with those who wanted a better understanding of a good fighter. That being Mewtwo. I understand that playing the game is what makes a person get better, and I for one know that learning from one's failure can give great insight on how to get better with your favorite fighter. But this is more than Mewtwo being an actual good fighter, but rather I don't see him a lot online, and I think he deserves some love. So here are some tips to help out you Mewtwo players out there. I will go into detail on his moves, how to take advantage of them, and to give as much information as I can for him, because Mewtwo, I think, is a bit underappreciated. Now I'm going to assume you all have done the tutorial. It's like an hour long and it can seem to be a waste of time, but do the tutorial. Trust me, you'll learn much from it. So after getting the basics down, I would suggest going into the Action Dojo to understand the Pokemon's moves, and Combo Dojo to get a better understanding of your fighter, and to learn some combos while you're at it. After which, I would suggest going into free training to practice some of those combos you think might work. Now, on to Mewtwo. Mewtwo is a standard fighter with medium speed movement, varies in attack damage, and medium attack speed. He covers all range of attack distances and has quite a number of charge attacks at his disposal. He has one command grab, one alternate shield that leads into many options, a life steal combo, and one full arena ranged attack with a bit of a risk. These qualities make Mewtwo an all-arounder, and probably a good go-to fighter for someone who wants everything as an option. However, where he has all types of moves at his disposal, he does not have many ways of opening up for combos, maybe for the exception of a few. A lot of his moves are predictable and require the player to be good at reading their opponent. Setups are practically a must with Mewtwo, but it's not always the case. First, let's tackle Field Mode. Mewtwo is quite proficient in field mode and does have many approachable options to chase down his foe. One thing you'll notice is his Y, or light attack, that homes in on the opponent no matter how far you are from them. This can lead to a good approach, but I suggest leaving that as your quickest combo setup. Mewtwo's Light Forward is a psychic wave that has super armor and has pretty good distance, and as with every Light Forward, it goes into a phase shift. The thing about Mewtwo's Light Forward is that it can really surprise the opponent if they're not paying attention. You'll also notice that he has what I call the Camp Canceller. This move will always start under your opponent and will always go off at about 2 to 3 seconds. Not the best move, but it will make your foe think twice before sitting still. At the very least, you'll use this to keep them moving around since it's not actually the best to use at medium or close range. His light side attack is a homing horizontal cutter that shoots out 3 projectiles at a time and homes in at a slow pace. This is good against other projectile types that have something similar, since after that, Mewtwo shoots a fast cutter that leads into a phase shift combo. His light air attack is a vertical ice attack that moves with prominent speed, but is possibly only good for disrupting. Next, we have Mewtwo's X, or medium attacks. His mediums are homing uppercut to kick, then guard break attack, and his air is a powerful diagonal attack that's pretty safe when used. Both are pretty good and have quite the startup. As you can see, Mewtwo winds up before attacking, which leads to a safe push if done fully. But beware of counters. They can counter in between these attacks. One thing to note is the hitbox. It can hit quite a few people in the air if they are jump happy, so the uppercut is a good anti-air if used correctly. Next we have the A, or heavy attacks. These attacks all have phase shift properties for the exception of barrier, which leads to a command grab, life steal, a stun, and a teleport. His normal heavy is his cutter throw and close range cutter, a good way to home in with an attack that's okay in speed. His back heavy is his barrier, for which I noted on to having good options after use. You can grab, life life steal, stun, or teleport. To really fuck with the opponent though, I suggest practicing your teleport. It can get you out of trouble if done right. His forward heavy is Hyper Beam, an attack that hurts quite a bit, but if done at a full distance with a normal arena, the attack won't phase shift. Hyper Beam can be shifted left or right when done and can lead to disruption if the opponent is also attacking from a full distance. Warning however, as Hyper Beam is Hyper Beam, he will recharge after use for about 2 to 3 seconds, so use it wisely and at a good distance. Also to note, Hyper Beam can be cancelled into Teleport. His heavy air is Focus Blast, and as the name suggests, he can charge this attack to do some serious damage and even push them back if they're blocking. But the attack can lead him to be open, so use it at a good distance. Last, his counter is a full ground attack, so anyone can pretty much jump over it. If you do use his counter, which you should, be aware of this weakness. Overall, Mewtwo's field phase game is pretty good. It does require a ton of patience to set up, but it's overall okay in the long run. I wouldn't say it's awesome, but better than some. Now onto the duel phase. Mewtwo has quite the game in duel phase. He's okay in speed at the very least, but what I found has made him pretty good at approach, air, and get-ups. So for his light attacks, we have his normal hit combo that can lead to a special after 2 hits. His up and down are respectively fast, but not good poke options. His up light does have air combo potential, but it's pretty hard to pull off. His light air is a multi-hit that attacks all around, so it's a good attack to use that's safe, and it can open him up for ground combos if used correctly. His medium attacks are pretty okay. His up hits the ground though, it may seem bad for the most part, but it can push your opponent back. His normal and forward medium are what you want to master though. His normal can lead to barrier and with good reflex can go into a phase shift combo. His forward is what you want to be able to set up though, for it leads to what I call his formal combo move. Forward medium, down medium medium, down heavy heavy heavy. Learning this can give you a pretty good phase shift combo, so remember this combo and try to pull it off when you get the chance online. His medium air is still the same, but be aware that he moves in one diagonal direction and may put you in a spot if you fly over them, so be very careful. On to his heavies, which are the same for his forward, his normal, and I know this is late but I'm calling it neutral now, and his back. Hyper Beam, Cutter, and Barrier, which all do the same thing except in a 2D plane. However, I noticed that his stun now has setup options when done, giving him the opportunity to use his combos when the stun is hit. Remember that his confusion is his fastest move after barrier and his fastest attack, period, so use it wisely. His up heavy is a 3-hit combo that does moderate damage. This attack is also a good get up option for when you face grab happy or aggressive foes. His down heavy is a good finisher with good reach as well. If you do hit with this though, and they are blocking, you'll be open for attacks. Only use it when you see the opportunity, but if not, you'll be punished hard. The skills Mewtwo have are all quite strong, but don't think they'll be life drainers. In long distance fights, setting up Hyper Beam can give you the space and damage advantage when done right, but as I said before, his moves need some setups and you must have a good read on your opponent. His forward medium is a good quick approach, but spamming it won't get you anywhere if they start reading you. Last, we have his Synergy Burst. Okay, so if you're like me, you'd focus on this, because Mewtwo's Synergy Burst hurts. His Synergy Burst adds a stretching kind of attribute to him and some of his moves, but other than that, they're just aesthetic changes. A new thing to his formal combo is a debuff to his opponent's attack and speed, which makes it even harder for them to escape your burst attack. Now, Mewtwo's burst attack is very close ranged, and if the opponent just sits there and blocks, they'll get hit, because Mewtwo's burst attack is a grab. That means if you manipulate your opponent right, they'll always get hit. If they don't jump, pre-frame grab you or do their burst attack. This also requires reading the opponent and a good setup. Another thing I found out was that his high stance actually does gradually charge his synergy, but only so fast. Honestly, I found this out while staring at how cool he looked doing his high stance, wondering what this ball was for. That's when I saw this and was like, really? Now for his support. I went with synergy because this is his biggest weakness. His synergy is possibly the worst in the game. No joke, it takes forever for a synergy to go up, so I suggest synergy based support when you go that route, and seeing how the charge is extra slow, I'd still go with this. Or if you're an attack based Mewtwo, recovery or attack strength support Pokemon is what I would go with, but in all actuality he's good with a bunch of support Pokemon. In the end, Mewtwo is a good character at the most, though not very technical. His moves require a good means of setting up and a good reader behind the controls. Mewtwo is very powerful when his hits go through and has every option to choose from, but with a lack in speed and a very slow growing synergy bar, Mewtwo is very possibly a patient fighter. Aggressive Mewtwo's are good at dishing out the damage, but soon they become predictable in the long run. So I would suggest that if you play as Mewtwo, to be very patient, watch your opponent and practice the means of good setups. However, as it is a fighting game, this is not a means to master Mewtwo, but to get used to him. So if anyone has other tips, please leave it in the comments. Even I have much to learn from this fighter, and I think at this point I may be maining him. Who knows? But if you want me to look at other fighters in POKKEN Tournament, leave your suggestions and I'll raffle through them. Until then, I hope this guide can help you guys get used to one of my favorite fighters, the lone psychic Pokemon, Mewtwo.